Pedro Pascal was in it. He was spotted leaving the gym carrying a cello. And is that something?
He's a cellist in the film.
Sure. That's not an explanation. Please welcome to the stage the man behind Andor, Michael Clayton, and as I just learned this week, the cutting edge. Love the cutting edge. Put your toe picks together for Hollywood legend Tony Gilroy. Thank you for being here.
Juggle my beer. Thank you, sir. Where
Right
do you want
there,
me?
right there.
Very good.
Hi.
Hello.
So we met years ago
We did.
at a very strange dinner where I was sitting across from you and I was sitting next to Elon Musk. Years and years ago, before.
He was like the rocket guy or the guy at that point.
Yeah, he was just the rocket guy, and he seemed very uncomfortable and awkward. And I remember trying to make conversation with him, and I was like, "How do you figure out how much fuel these rockets need?" And then he kind of lit up, and then he took a video and he showed me a video of a rocket landing upright, which he was very proud of. It was early for that. And then
I remember it was really cold. It was like it was at LA winter, and they wanted to eat outside because they'd set this whole table outside for this strange curated dinner.
Yeah.
And it was really cold, and he took his sweater off so he could be in his t-shirt. And I remember going all night long going, that guy is freezing. What is wrong with him? Anyway, I wish I'd known then what I know now.
But that's the thing about the past.
I know.
So, Andor. Not just one of the best parts of Star Wars, one of the best dramas of all time. Congratulations, incredible. I love it. I wanted to ask you a question that's been on my mind, I think a lot of fans' minds, and or what?
Because if. Yeah, exactly.
So, the second season of Andor brings us up to Rogue One, which you co-wrote as well as you were part of the reshoots, right? Is that discussed?
Yeah, I don't like to. Yes, that's accurate. Yes, I don't go any farther than that. Yeah,
and good to know. But what you said about it in the past is that you'd never been interested in Star Wars and that you had no reverence for it. As a child of the '80s, how did you avoid knowing about Star Wars?
I knew about it. I saw the first one in '77. I just didn't get on the bus, you know. I would see them when they came by, but I wasn't yearning for it.
Wow, you must have had friends. Were you good at sports?
I did have a life.
Could you dribble? That's so cool.
Yeah.
And you modestly say that you came into Rogue One, which was your first, which led to Andor, and you were able to improve the position of something that wasn't working. But I believe you did something much more amazing than that, which is you turned Rogue One into one of the great Star Wars films. And I'm curious, applaud that. And I'm curious what not caring about Star Wars let you do that a lot of other people who do care about Star Wars seem unable to do.
It's actually a more fundamental question because I've worked on a lot of movies. I've done a lot of script doctoring as a side hustle. It's a great side hustle, and it's the great perk of screenwriting, weekly work to fix things. You don't want your surgeon to give a shit about whether you're going to make your next promotion or carpool. You want your surgeon to really just pay attention to what's on the table. And so there's a real benefit in fixing things to not care, really. And so my experience on Rogue One is very different than Andor. I mean, I came in there as to repair a problem. On Andor, I was completely invested. I mean, I'm all in on that. That's my thing. So the other thing is very mechanical in a way. Everyone's going to die in the end, and if it's not working, well, there's got to be a solution. You know?
Yeah, because it's
kind of cool, actually. Yeah, everyone's going to die in the end. That makes life easy.
Yeah.
Not many movies do that, and you kind of go, okay, well then.
How are we going to get him out of this?
Well, no, it's really very simple. Then the movie gets very pure. It's you want to care about all the people in there enough so that it matters when they die. That's all you really have to do. Really.
And maybe life as well.
Yeah.
That's maybe the secret, because we're all going to die in this movie too. In a sense. I don't know how spiritual you are. So Rogue One is released in December 2016. Andor's first season comes just after Trump leaves office. This final season comes during his encore. I remember seeing Rogue One and feeling moved and inspired by how it felt like it was speaking to the moment. What if someone had told you then that those were the good old days?
Oh man, I'll be really sad. We were mixing Rogue up at Skywalker the night of the election, and we turned the TV off, and then I had to do like a whole, make a speech to all the people in the mixing stage. Say, okay, no one's gonna watch the news for the next 3 days. We're not gonna pay any attention to anything. We got to get through what we got to get through. 3 days from now, we can all, when we're done, you can pay attention. But if we turn around and look down right now, we're gonna kill ourselves. And then, when the movie came out, I'd never been to the White House. I'd never been invited to the White House. I'd never met any presidents or anything. We got invited. It was the saddest thing. We went to the White House for Rogue One at the last of, and you know how this is, they throw many Christmas parties, like 50 Christmas parties. We were at the last Christmas party where Obama and Michelle, that family got on the military helicopter at the end of the party and went off to go to Hawaii. And it was, man, that was some sad shit. I mean, it was the end of days there. So it was very traumatic. I was like, wow, this is so cool to be here and incredibly sad to be here at this moment.
So Andor, it feels so perfect for this time. And there have been many moments where I've been like so moved by it. And if there's many through lines in it, but there's one about the kind of that I found inspiring in it. And this came at the end of season 1, and I'm taking a piece of it, but it's freedom is a pure idea. It occurs spontaneously and without instruction. The imperial need for control is so desperate because it is so unnatural. Tyranny requires constant effort. It breaks, it leaks. Authority is brittle. Oppression is the mask of fear. And I found it so moving in part because we spent a lot of time talking about the threat of authoritarianism, because we're in it. But we spent a lot less time talking about why it fails and falls apart. What makes it weak and what makes freedom strong. And I'm curious, especially hearing that about sort of what your experiencing was just at making Rogue One and going into Andor. What drew you to how to talk about that? And was it important to you that it inspire people who are genuinely worried about it in the real world, or is that just a happy accident?
No, I mean, they offered me the chance to do this show. It's a 5-year tranche of history and that happens to be extremely potent. It's the rise of, I'm going to use the word fascism. I know it's a 20th century word, but it's you could certainly retrofit it back through 4,000 years of history. It's about fascism, authoritarianism, closing its fist, and what happens to regular people when history comes knocking on your door. And I've been a stupid amateur dinner table historian forever, and I've been reading about revolutions my whole life, and I was like, wow, this is a really incredible piece of material to work on. I wanted to make sure that I could get in all of the things that I had learned along the way, the whole fascist karaoke playbook, and the as many of the attributes and aspects that make somebody that rise somebody's consciousness and lead to rebellion. So I felt a responsibility to the topic in general. I have my natural anger, I have my things I believe. We weren't writing it you don't have to write the show out of the headlines to get where I got, We have been particularly shaken by the proximity of what we did as things started happening. We posited over the summer, wow, what's going to happen if the election goes either way? I mean, imagine the show if it goes the other way. Well, would it be as potent? People would say, man, it's a really great show. Would it mean the same thing? But, we've had the unique experience. I mean, I'm going to do the immigration thing. All the things that we do in the show. But like when they drag Padilla out of the ICE office the week we're releasing the Gorman senator being ripped out of the Senate, we're like, who's watching the show? Is Stephen Miller like watching the show, or what the fuck? I mean, like who's responsible for the synchronicity of this, us or them?
We're not spending enough time with the heroes in that bureaucratic chamber.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's like a lot of these things are natural and reoccurring. The fact that it's happening now is terrifying and sad, really. Yeah.
Love It or Leave It, brought to you by Stamps.com. Every day can be hijacked by tedious tasks, leaving little time to focus on what you love and do best. Are you in meetings that could have been an email? For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, sometimes I'm in emails that should have been meetings. And I'm like, we're getting this wrong. You know? Do quick errands turn into all-day events with this in this traffic? If you're a realtor, lawyer, accountant, or any profession that requires a lot of mailing or shipping, you don't have time to be a postage expert or stand in line to drop off letters and packages. Stamps.com gives you a chance to focus your time on what you do best. Print stamps, shipping labels, certified mail forms in seconds, and schedule free package pickups all in one place, and all for up to 89% off USPS, UPS, and other carriers. For more than 28 years, Stamps.com has been doing more than just small business mailings. Stamps.com handles your mailing and shipping needs wherever, whenever. Seamlessly connect with every major marketplace and shopping cart. If you sell products online, access all the USPS and UPS services you need to run your business right from your computer or phone anytime, day or night. No lines, no traffic, no waiting. Take care of mailing and shipping wherever you are, even on the go with Stamps.com's mobile app. All you need is a computer and printer. They even send you a free scale. No more tedious postage math. Rated Advisor helps you calculate the best shipping rates and fast. Don't waste time worrying about being a postage expert or standing in line to drop off letters and packages. Let Stamps.com do what they do best so you can do what you do better. Go to Stamps.com/loveit to sign up for a special offer. No contract, cancel anytime. That's Stamps.com/loveit.
There's another part of, I think, Star Wars that you handle so differently than it's been handled in the past, which is the way you use the Force. There's a line from the Bible, deal with it, you godless audience. Which is faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And it was on my mind, it really was, when watching Andor. In Star Wars Classic, Jedis lift objects, they glamour people. You're right up next to the magic. But in Rogue One and then in Andor, the Force is something else. And I'm wondering if it was because you are someone, there's not a lot of magic in Michael Clayton. That you're a
wrote Devil's Advocate.
You wrote Devil's Advocate. A lot of magic in Devil's Advocate. That's true. You're right. I felt that coming. But
Cutting Edge has some pixie dust. No, sorry.
No, that's just homosexuality. You know that like drag queens aren't Jedis. They're just people. They don't have any powers. They're magical in a sense.
I needed to hear that.
No, but I'm curious what you wanted to do with the Force in Andor.
I was if you'd asked me when I first started, I probably said we're never going to do that. We're never going to do it. I've been on the show for 5 years. It's just this massive, maximal experience, and I'm surrounded by all these people who are really into it. And it did seem like if I could find a way to make it work for me and touch them, that would be great. There's like a curia. You have to think of Star Wars and Lucasfilm sort of like the Vatican. It really is. It's like and there's a curia in San Francisco, and there's a people who are the keepers of all the information. And so you call out there, and there's Pablo, Pablo Hidalgo, and I said, Pablo, how many people in the galaxy really know about the Force? In this, very few people have ever seen it. There's like no one's ever seen a Jedi, and I was like, can I play with that? And permission granted. And I found a way. I'll tell you my source for it. Remember Ghost?
Yeah.
Okay, Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost. I love the scene where she's like a psychic, and he comes, and she's a psychic who's squandered all her actual psychic power over the years, and then all of a sudden it's activated by Patrick Swayze being in her room. I love that scene. I love that idea. And I was like, that's kind of a cool way to go. And what if there's a woman who's, working in the commissary who's sort of half lost her. I played it from her point of view. The scene is much more important for me from the Force healer's point of view than it is from their point of view, at least in my way in. She says thank you to them, So that was my way in.
It's so, it's just interesting hearing you talk about it because it comes through in the show, which is that these people pop up and they feel fully fledged and they have a point of view. And you do that on both sides. There's a scene where there's a stormtrooper. I don't know exactly his rank, but he's not as bad as the other one. The other one's a monster and attacking someone. This stormtrooper is just out guarding and doesn't know what to do. Right. He's an underling, and you meet him and he's conflicted and he's worried. and then you just fucking kill him. You just blow him up from afar. He gets blown up from afar. Spoiler alert. That's a mid-episode, mid-season Andor season 2 spoiler. But there's something about that you're rounding out this world where that the motivations of a better person on the wrong side don't matter to the good guys fighting from afar. That's just somebody that has to be stopped.
You just look, if you're writing really, really well and all the things the writer has to live through every single one. Every single person who gets any screen time has to be fully realized, and you gotta, what's their point of view? Why are they here? How'd they get here? It's just, I guess I've learned over time that's the key to marching forward. Empathy with every single person that you're writing about, and it's just, it makes it a lot more engaging to do the work, and it makes it a lot more. It makes actors want to. We had 400 speaking parts in the show between the 2 seasons, and we had maybe 3 people who bombed out on us. I mean, out of 400 people, everybody came in and they just poured their ass into it, and they just were there, and I think the key is that you live through every single. There's no small characters. That sounds like it's like a T-shirt or some shit, but it's really true. Everybody's got a backstory. Everybody's there for a reason.
So you worked with your brothers on this. And your brother Dan is a writer. Your brother John is an editor. You worked with them in the past.
Yeah.
When you're growing up, you're older. They're twins, right?
Yeah.
Did you bully them? Did you?
I tried. Yeah, I did. No, I did. No.
I
carried them a lot. It's good they're not here tonight, but I can say a lot of things that should be said that when they're here, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I carried this
dragging
shit all the way.
dragging them behind you.
They're only yeah. No,
they're in your shadow for sure.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. And it hurts for them to hear it.
They want to say that. They feel that.
Well, it must be a hard thing to hear because it's true, and they know it, right?
Thank you.
So it sucks.
Thank you for them.
All right, a couple quick questions to let you for. So you're working on another film now called Behemoth.
Yes, with an exclamation point.
With an exclamation point, Behemoth. Pedro Pascal is in it. He was spotted leaving the gym carrying a cello. And is that something?
He's a cellist in the film.
Sure. That's not an explanation.
I want him to. He's practicing the cello very diligently, and plus, we want him to carry the cello anywhere he can because you want him. We did a movie when we did Devil's Advocate. When Keanu first came in, I remember we're like, he's going to be a lawyer? Oh my God! And I remember Taylor Hackford said, you got to put a suit. It was 3 months out. Put a suit on now, and you are never fucking taking that suit off until we start shooting. Because he looked so weird in a suit. 3 months later, he had worn a suit everywhere he ever went, and it worked. And carrying the cello case will turn you into a cellist if you do it long enough.
Tony fucking Gilroy, you hear that? All right. Last question. We started there. We'll end there. The cutting edge. It is an outlier because yes, Devil's Advocate has magic in it, but I think of when I just look at the Michael Clayton, Dolores Claiborne, Duplicity, Bourne films, the cutting edge does stand out a bit. Did the original script have D.B. Sweeney killing a person and then burying the body or something?
I was really desperate to get a movie made. And a guy came to me and said, hey, you wrote this other movie and it's bickering. It was a real 80s bickering thing. I'm not going to make that movie. But this guy was such a great marketing guy. He said, every 7 years there has to be a figure skating movie and we're due. And if you can give me Taming of the Shrew on ice, I will make the movie. And I was like, and he was a guy who could really make movies. Robert Court, it was Interscope. I was like, all right. And everybody held true to their word. I tried so hard not to get fired from that show, and he delivered. And yeah, man, you know what? Of all that is a residual that never fails.
Hell yeah. Well, everybody, Andor is streaming now on Disney Plus. Thank you so much, Tony Gilroy. This is so fun. Thank you so much. So great. Tony Gilroy, come on.